Social media feeds are increasingly turning into crime bulletins, with residents sharing videos and first-hand accounts of attacks across Kampala in broad daylight and at night.
Yes, today is 14th February 2026, and this is how I happen to look like. I was beaten up by 5 people. Ababi badde batano nga baboda nga balina ebisi. Ebisinga like pangas and knives.
In recent weeks, several high-profile incidents have amplified public anxiety. The Dean of Students at Uganda Christian University, Professor Pamela Tumwebaze, was attacked and strangled in her home. Police have since arrested a key suspect in the case. Earlier, social media personality Diana Namulinde, commonly known as Diana Skies, was found murdered in her apartment in Chanja on February 4th. Police say investigations are ongoing. Another CCTV clip circulating online shows machete-wielding men riding border borders, robbing a woman of up to 25 million shillings in Chira in daylight. Sharing his own experience, Tony Tumukunde described the worsening security situation along major highways.
I drive home at around 10 p.m., reached the Nalia bypass traffic lights. As I stopped, because the lights were telling me to stop, they were red, I stopped. There was a man with a cavera, and in the cavera I think there was a paver or a stone, and hits the windscreen, the behind windscreen of my car. I think his aim was to take the laptop, and then I took off. So when I stopped around the petrol station, I asked the people around, and the people say, yeah, you never stop around that place because it's really risky and suicidal for you to stop at that time. And when you realize it's not only that side, it crosses over the other side when you are swerving off to Chambogo. The police officers that day that not stood at the traffic point, that stood down at the petrol stations.
He is not alone. On X, Solomon Asimwe recounted an attack near Smokies in Nakasero, where border riders reportedly assaulted an elderly man and stole his belongings. Farida Mbabazi also detailed how unknown individuals allegedly staged a border accident before attempting to attack her group. As fear spreads, some social media users are now mapping out perceived crime hotspots across the city. Kampala Metropolitan Deputy Police spokesperson Luke Owoyesigire acknowledges a spike in reported incidents, but urges the public to go beyond online outrage and formally record statements and aid investigations.
At the end of last month, when we started seeing a lot of videos on social media, and we do acknowledge the fact that people have a right to share concern. Well, it is true, many of the places where people have been complaining, and we have also registered the cases on ground, like in our special diary books, we have put deployments, and during the day, it is true most of those deployments are stationary. We have even increased our presence at the Nalia stretch, where we have seen quite an increase of people complaining, especially during the rush hour in the evening. Our presence is there. There is even a police post that was put.
Analysts say the rise in urban crime may be symptomatic of deeper structural pressures. Economist John Walugembe urges that persistent youth unemployment and economic strain are pushing many young people into desperation.
Economic strategy is to criminalize the informal sector. So if young people can't find work, they will try to start these informal businesses. But to criminalize them, one, we don't provide workspaces. One, we make sure that the licensing regime is unsupportive. If you look at typical license in Kampala, 450,000. Very few informal businesses can afford that. If you look at the rent prices, very high. So it means most people who are starting off will end up in hawking, the border business, and this kind of thing. And then how do the authorities react? By even being more tough on them. You find that these enforcement teams like KCCA, are confiscating goods owned by these petty traders and so on. So what will happen is that these young people now end up joining crime syndicates, because These crime syndicates are also a form of livelihood, After they've stolen this merchandise, it's sold and the proceeds are...
While arrests and investigations continue, the surge in violent and opportunistic crime has exposed deeper cracks attributed to several factors, including insufficient funding to the police force.
It has reached a level where the government must come in, because now hearing of murders, serious crime is the order of the day these days. So what does the director, crime intelligence, the director, criminal investigation department do now to up their acts in terms of more resources so they can do a better job, in terms of more deployment of personnel, but also training. They need to have really proper training of officers who are investigating crime. So I'm not so much a fan of post-mortem investigation. I'm a fan of stopping the crime. And that's where we should be investing in as a country. When you look at the resources which we appropriate for their departments of crime intelligence, it is so meager. It is just too low. A division like Chira or the Chira Road Division, you may find that they have only 2 million shillings a whole month for that department. And when you look at the area jurisdiction is large, it is an urban area, you need to deploy more personnel, you need more airtime, telephone, or efficient communication.
Some of these suspects who are actually sometimes arrested and items of suspected stolen material is found on them. But because the complainants seem not to be interested, we find ourselves these suspects are released on bail. And I want to inform you that some of the suspects that were released, that we are arresting currently, and those that were released on bail recently.
For residents of Kampala, the question is no longer whether crime exists, but whether institutions can respond swiftly and decisively enough to restore public confidence. Walter Mwesije, NTV.